We have a great word tonight. Great word tonight. Out of the book of Samuel. First Samuel. First Samuel. Great word tonight. First Samuel, chapter 1, verses 9 through 20 and 20 through 25. Our subject tonight, great subject, wishing and hoping and praying. Wishing, hoping, and praying. Brother Gibson, can you read that outline for us tonight? Either one, your choice. It's a great, great lesson. Start at verse 9 through 20, and then 20 through 25. Either version you want.
After they had eaten and drunk at Shiloh, Hannah rose and presented herself before the Lord. Now Eli, the priest, was sitting at the seat beside the doorpost of the temple of the Lord. She was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. She made this vow, O Lord of hosts, if only you will look on the misery of your servant and remember me, and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a male child. Then I will set him before you as a Nazarite until the day of his death. He shall drink neither wine nor intoxicants, and no razor shall touch his head. That was 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 9 through 11 in the New Revised Standard Version.
Thank you, Brother Gibson.
Oh, you on the phone, though.
No, it hung up on its own. Okay, hit it back. Wishing, hoping, and praying. I'll wait till he comes back up. Is it back, Jeff? Okay. Bible study. Wishing and hoping and praying. We all have been there, where at some point in time you wish for something, your wish moved to hope, and it got to the point where it got right down to where you started praying. That's what a godly mother does. That's how I want to say we made it thus far. Wishing, hoping, and praying. Now, all your prayers didn't get answered the way you wanted them to. Sometimes God answered your prayers instantly, and other times you had to wait, and other times you had to wait a long time and didn't look like it was going to be answered. But in this lesson tonight, Hannah is barren. She's childless. Peniel, Samuel's other wife, has had, I think, 2 or 3 children by now. And now, back in those days, it was shameful not to have any children. Because God said in Genesis, I think 1:28 or somewhere there, be fruitful and multiply. It's in the first part of Genesis. He said, be fruitful and multiply. Now I'm gonna throw this in, by the way. That's why 2 women don't need to be together and 2 men don't need to be together. They cannot multiply. They can wish all they want, it ain't happening. A woman with a woman or a man with it's not going to happen. It hadn't happened yet. And it's not going to happen. That's why that is out of order. That's out of God's order. If God wanted a woman with a woman, he'd have made Adam and Anna. No, I'm sorry. He'd have made Eve and Anna. Or if he wanted two men together, he'd have put Eddie and Adam together. He didn't do that. A man and a woman. You can wish, hope, and pray all you want. It's not going to happen. They're praying, they're hoping, because back in that time, you find Peniel, Samuel's other wife, and women do this to one another from time to time. They pick with each other, especially when one has something that the other one don't seem like she can have. They'll make mockery or they will pick. And Hannah was feeling really hurt because she was kind of looked down upon as though Peniel was the favorite or Peniel was the blessed one. And you see other people being blessed all the time and you wonder why you not. And that discouraged Hannah. They go to the temple, they eat, they leave the temple, and they go. Now, the lesson said, now watch, when looks like the lesson aim is to not to give up, even when you struggle. The word no, I can ask right now, what does the word no mean to you? Just the word no. I said no. What does no mean? No. I just said no. I didn't say which one. See, you need to know, is it K-N-O-W? Because I need more information. See, most time when people say no, they say no because they don't have enough information on what you're trying to get them to do. So that's why you get a no. Now, when you give them K-N-O-W, it turns into yes. Tell me the reason why I need to do this, why I'm doing it. Now, Hannah is discouraged. She's hurt. She's disappointed. And look like when it rains, it floods. It don't just pour, it floods. Look, this broke down and that broke down and this goes wrong and that go wrong. Sometimes your faith is just being tested. Mike Tyson said it this way: everybody got a plan until they get hit. Everybody got a plan until they have to deal with it. It's easy for me to say, oh, the Lord will make a way. I'm praying for you. But then when you going through that same situation, it don't sound the same, do it? Yeah, that's what you say, but you ain't going through this, what I'm going through. I told him this morning, the 11 o'clock hour, I spent 8 years on dialysis. 1,250 treatments. Didn't miss one. I didn't dialyze to live. I didn't live to dialyze. I dialyzed because I wanted to live. Because last year, my oldest brother died because he would not take it. Didn't have to die. But because he would not take the dialysis, he died. Hannah here, they've gone to eat. They've gone now to the temple. She's sorrowful of spirit. And you know, look like when you're going through, everybody don't understand you. Because the prophet Eli sits over against the wall and he watches her and she's not saying nothing, but her mouth is moving. He even perceives. See, people can judge you wrong when you're going through. Even the preacher. He looks at her and says, she drunk. Now, had you said that outwardly or verbally, she'd have probably left church. On this day and time, people would probably go off on you. I dare you call me drunk. You don't know me like that. Blah, 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 blah. It'd have made a big old stink of it. But he perceives. But sometimes, you know, we can perceive wrong about people. If you don't know the story, don't judge him. If you don't know both sides of the story, don't judge me. You don't know what makes people go where they go. If you got to do your dance, you got to do that. How you start dancing, you start shouting, you start praying. They're gonna say, "Wonder what they're going through." Yes, sir. Yes, men get jealous of men. They sure do. Yeah, you're sure right. Well, I'll say it this way: people get jealous of people. God opened the door for you, but see, they don't know how long you've saved for it. They don't know how long you've suffered for it. They don't know how long you done waited on it. All they know is a new car and pulled up in front of a new house. I wonder what they doing. I wonder. The same God that blessed you can bless me. I get excited when I see my friends being blessed with things. But you got to remember something. Life does not consist in the abundance of things that a man possesses. You got to do something for the life until you do Genesis 3:2 for your soul. He breathed into man's nostrils the breath of life. Then man became. You ain't stuff can get away from you as quick as you get it. But you want to do something for your soul. Then you got life. Then you got it going on. Because as fast as stuff get to you, it can get away from you. And one while they had this thing going, people was all these accidents and getting that PIP money and all that. Fast as they got it, it was gone. All they didn't put themselves through. Ill-gotten gain don't stay with you long. I said something there. Ill-gotten gain does not stay with you long. You notice a lot of people that hook and crook, they got to keep doing it. Because as fast as they get it get away from them. Even president. Remember when he was going through? All them lawyers wasn't for free. All those folks he cheated, he had to pay them lawyers. And now he thinks he's getting it back. If he don't get it right, he won't have it long. That's the word of God for the people of God. The aim of this lesson is to teach us how to wait and trust God. To wait and trust God. God's not going to lie. That's where your confidence comes in. You don't know how he's going to do it. I don't worry about it. No, I just knew I was getting a kidney. I stood up and announced it to the whole church. God was going to either heal this one or give me a new one. And he did it. But it took 8 years. That's what folk don't realize. Now, once you get it, you thanking God. But look how long you had to go through to get that. It was get a kidney or die. I trusted God for it, and he did it. The heart of, go ahead.
But while you were waiting, your faith got stronger in God because you knew he can do it. That's our problem when we go through stuff. We start to doubt God, lose faith. And that's where that jealousy, that envy, and all that stuff slip in even more because, hey, I know he going through his phase. It took him 3 months. Why he taking me so long? I only seen this person in Dodge. I seen him 2 times, and now I don't see him no more.
Okay.
He healed.
What, you can't judge yourself against others. I'm going to tell you why. Moses took 40 years to get him out of Egypt. Paul go to Arabia 3 or 7 years and he's back building churches. You can't judge your ministry versus what somebody else does, because what God had for Moses, sheep are hard to deal with. They wander off a lot. They run away a lot. You got to be you got to be patient with sheep. Paul started establishing churches. He'd start and go on. Now, if you judge, well, it took him 40 years. Well, you made me wait 40 years. You let Paul do it in 7 after coming from Arabia. You can't judge one again, but they both were successful. See, it took different things from 2 different things. Sheep out in the desert 40 years, he sent him there 20, and then he sent him down to, when he left Egypt, he went to his father-in-law's house, Jethro, and Meridian or whatever. And had to stay there 20 more before he came out of there. Because it's different people you're dealing with. Our church been here this long, and look how much they done in a short time. They listened, you didn't. Don't ever judge yourself. Well, why they get it and I'm had to wait? Because you wouldn't listen. Life is all about choices. We all were born. Nothing wrong with us. We all went to school, but we made a choice on what we wanted to do. Some wanted to be doctors, some wanted to be lawyers, some just wanted to be hamburger turners, restaurant managers. But we all made a choice. So don't judge other folk by what they got, because their choice was a lot harder. They had to take more classes. They had to spend more money. They came out of college $200,000 or $300,000 in debt. So don't judge by what somebody else got, because you don't, everything looked good on that. I never, when I was selling insurance, this house was on Southwest Houston, manicured lawn, BMW and Mercedes in the yard. Went in, I said, oh, this is going to be a nice sale. Went in the house, I didn't have a place to sit down. The chair they wanted to give me, I know it was going to fall. I stood up. That's why you just can't judge from the outer appearance. God knows your heart. Now, he knew Hannah's heart. He knew Hannah's heart. Now, because God knows some of us, if we give us what we want right now, we ain't going to do right. We ain't doing right now. And if he give it, I'll put it this way. I say it this way. I don't reward bad behavior. I know God don't either. When children cutting up around me and I'm, no, not until you can do right. Then, well, God's no different. Why should he reward bad behavior and I ain't doing right now? And then he gonna give me all this other stuff I'm asking for. He rewards humility. Now, don't think Hannah wasn't suffering. Peninnah having all these children, she ain't having any. The other lady meddling her, laughing at her, whatever. That's hurt. That's breaking her heart. And you know how, when people make fun of you, when they look like they're doing pretty good, and they say, you ain't got nothing over there. You must be sinning or something. But it throws you off. But notice what Hannah does. She makes her prayer, her petition. God keeps his promise. She gets the prayer, the promise, and the position. God answered her prayer because she made a promise. What did she say? Lord, if you give me a child, a male, she was specific in her prayer, a male child. This is, I didn't just say a child. I said a male child. If you give him to me, I will give him back to you. Now, how many of us make promises to God all the time, knowing we ain't going to do it? Lord, if you get me out of this, just get me out of this. And I promise you. And sometimes God blesses us anyway, knowing we ain't going to do right. He knows. You're not going to fool him. Now, she's in pain. And look where she goes to. This is after they eat. They go to the temple. She didn't go home mad, feeling sorry for herself, fussing, cussing, being indignant. Peninnah always getting a blessing, and I ain't got no blessing. And I ain't going to church no more. God don't look. No. What you asking for or what you gonna get gonna be different from Peninnah. She may have children, but one of them wasn't a prophet. God's giving you something special. So in order to get that ready for you, it might take a little more time and preparation before you get yours. Notice. Prayer and faith is what you have to have. Now, think about two wings of a bird. One is prayer, one is faith. They can't fly without the other. You got to have them both. I'm praying. You ain't got no faith. It ain't going. How is a bird going to fly with one wing? He ain't getting off the ground. Prayer and faith you have to have. And she had to have it. You got to, even when I was going through, I talk about that because I think I should talk about it more. It wasn't easy, but it's doable. You got to trust God. It ain't going to always be easy, but say, Lord, I tell you what, I ain't feeling it today, but I'm going to just trust you. Now try this. Try this. Try going from dialysis to radiation treatment. And nobody to drive you. Some days. You're already tired. You ain't feeling it. And you got to go from dialysis, which you got it at 5:30. Now here it is around 12, 1 o'clock. You got to drive yourself to cancer treatment. That was the longest 13 weeks of my life. But at the end of the 13 weeks, no more cancer. Hallelujah. But it wasn't easy because some days I say, man, I just want to go home. I ain't feeling it today. I'm kind of weak or whatever. I just said, Lord, I need you to help me. And I just went on. He got me there. They gave me the treatment, got up, I said, Lord, I need you to help me. Got on home. And I thank God to this day. If you think dialysis is do that and then go to a cancer treatment and see how you feel after you finish up radiation. You got to trust God. If you're going to just pray, get off your knees. You got to pray in expectation. Pray in belief. Pray that you know God's going to do it without doubting. Now, notice I want to say something that she said here. I underlined a lot of things. In verse 10, she's in bitterness. You've been asking for something along, and it don't look like it's. What's that song? You've been waiting on a blessing, and it seemed like it won't come. God's not through blessing you. God's not through blessing you. She's in bitterness, and she pray and she crying now. Lord, I need you to. But Eli ain't hearing nothing. She's crying. He thinks she's drunk. Just looking at her. Don't judge people till you know the whole story. From what I just believe, you're going to believe just wrong. You don't know what people on Sunday morning are going through when they come here. They can be in their best dress, best hairdo, best suit, best shoes, best whatever, but you don't know where they are up here. I had a man tell me, Pastor, if you hadn't preached what you preached today, I was going to go home and end it all. You don't know where people are when they come to church. They come, but they might have just finished fighting. Matter of fact, on the way to church in the car, arguing all the way here. Get out. How y'all doing? Bless. And just finished arguing all the way here. Because the devil don't care. If he can get you in a stir and all stirred up, he can get you where you're just going to be at church. You might as well stay at home. Because you're not going to hear anything. And whatever and normally when you're like that, whatever you hear, it ain't what you want to hear. Because they telling you the truth, but you don't want to hear that right then because you're mad. But Hannah goes on to the temple. The prayer, the promise, and the promotion. The Lord, she said, Lord, now, look, verse 11, she vows, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid. Lord, you know I'm suffering. Look at me. I want baby. I can't have a baby. Now they can have the babies and don't want them. And babies are a blessing from God. Nobody can make a baby. Only God does that. Remember me and forget not thy handmaid, but thou, well, look at what she says. I'm going to give unto thy handmaid a man child. Then I will give him unto the Lord all the days. Now, all of us wouldn't do that. Not all. Well, I gave him a month. The Lord know my heart. Or they have what they call surrogate mothers now. Somebody else have the baby, but then when something happens around the 5th, 6th, 7th month, they start bonding with that baby. Then when the baby gets here, they don't want to give it up because they have bonded with that child. Then you got court matters. They done paid you $50,000, $60,000 for this child, and now you don't want to give it up. Their fruit, it's the fruit of the womb is a blessing from the Lord. All the days of my life, and it's just like the rule. It's the rule of a Nazarite. No razor can go on his head, no strong drink in his mouth, so on and so on, just like Samson. After they had eaten and drunk at Shiloh, Hannah rose up and presented herself before the Lord. Now Eli the priest sitting on the seat beside the doorpost of the temple. She was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. Now she praying, ain't nothing coming out of her mouth. He can't hear nothing, and she crying. And Eli perceived that she was, and people can misread you in a lot of different ways. They just misread it all together because that's what their mind is. I'm going to give y'all this for free. Anytime a person go by and just say, I had this happen to me. Reverend Blake in there with a woman in his office. And I said to them, don't ascribe to me what's in your heart. I'm in there counseling. Now, because that's in your mind, what you're saying is, I know what I'd be doing if I was in there. Don't try to prescribe to me because that's how you are. The only way you can identify with that is because you that way. Ooh, I said something in. I said something in. That's how they are. That's why people will try to throw their stuff on you. And you just tell them, don't prescribe to me because that's how you are. Because why else would you think like that? Of all things to say, why would you say that? Because that's how you are. The heart and prayerful mother. That's where we are right now. This girl is crying. She's sincere about her prayer. I had written down, great miracles take great faith. No, they don't. Great miracles take real faith. You got to be sincere about, let me put it to you. What are you willing to do what you're asking for? Are you willing to do what it takes to get that? Blake, were you willing to wait 8 years, 1,250 treatments to get this kidney? If you can get there, I'll give it to you. But I didn't know that in the beginning. 8 years, rain didn't stop. I had to go. If it was rain, cold, wet, flooded, whatever, I went. When it flooded that one year, I think it was Hurricane Harvey. I called somebody who called somebody for me. They came to my house in a boat to get me, to take me to dialysis. I had to have it because you can't, after a while, that fluid builds up. You can't breathe. You can't breathe. And then when you can't breathe, you can't really function. I had to go. And they came and got me. And I was so grateful. Now, I couldn't get back to the house, but the Lord fixed it. Show you how it worked. After I left there, and I'm thinking I'm going to get me a room, you know. They said, no, you won't get a room. You're going to get a bed in the hallway. You just need to get that. Well, no rooms. And they said, there are people that are worse off than you need that room. I got a bed, but it was in the hallway, and I was glad to get it. Because I had to get that fluid off of me, or I was going to be in trouble. She does something else. It takes real faith to get a great miracle. You got to believe. Don't just say you believe it. Believe what you believe. Especially it's of God. I used to hear people say, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. Wrong. God said it, that settles it. Whether you believe it or not, that's not material putting you in the mix. If God said it, it settles it. And it's one thing you can always go on. God can't lie. Heaven and earth got to pass away before one jot or one tittle of his word is wrong. That's why people say, oh, you preaching that white man God. I say, I don't care whose gospel it is. I just know it's true. White, black, green, yellow, whatever. I found it to be very true if it was written 2,000 years ago and I'm reading it right now and watching it. Let me move on. Hannah made a vow. Lord, if you give me what I asked for with this child, I promise you I'm going to give him back. She kept him till she could wean him. When she weaned him, she took him to the temple and gave him to Eli. And that's all what's wrong today. We have not given our children back to God. We taking care of them. Why do you think the Bible? Now, what does this imply? What does this imply? Train up a child the way he should go. And when he gets old, he shall not depart. Why would he say that? Because they know we're going to walk away. He knows that everybody, even adults, walk away. But if you've been trained, if you've been taught, you can lose your way, but you'll find your way back.
Your example now.
Yeah.
So, anybody else that might be going through any kind of sickness, they hear your testimony.
Mhm.
if he can do it, and he was way more often what I am right now.
Hmm?
I can continue to push forward and keep on doing it. Your example matters, and that's one of the things that as Christians we don't do anymore. We don't come to church.
Not even Christmas. Not even Christmas no more.
Yep,
Thanksgiving.
yep, we'll come, we'll go, and then you'll go home and don't preach to nobody in your house.
What, I'm gonna show you something else. I don't know if y'all have noticed. After dialysis, what did I preach from? Where is it at?
Been gone for the last 2-3 months.
Really? That's God. That's God. I stepped out one Sunday. I said, you know what? I'm gonna believe God. I'm gonna leave this stool in the car. If I just have to have it, I'm gonna send somebody back out to get it. I've been standing there on my own. I had to trust him. I said, Lord, I'm gonna trust you. The stool was good. It helped me because I don't know if I'd have made it without it. Because I was wondering, because I was just gonna resign and just say, look, I can't stand that long. I can't, and I don't want to hold the church back or hold the church up. And Mother Laws, my older Laws said to me, I think it was John Hagee or somebody, Charles Stanley. She said, get you a stool like Charles Stanley. And I said, that's right. I went and got me a stool and I started preaching. I got very comfortable. I took it everywhere with me. And I got to the point, I said, Lord, I'm going to trust you. I want to stand without it today. And he allowed it. And as you said, as you trust him and things get better for you, you trust him even more next time. Because now he's proven himself to you. He's a very present help. He's going to let you stand when you don't know if you can stand or not. And then once he proves himself, you say, no, I got, you may not, but I believe. Whether you believe or not, I believe. I believe. I know it. I've learned it. God then showed it to me. And once you know it, you know it. Sister Taylor, think about all you've been through and yet you're still standing. How did you get there? God was carrying you. Just like that poem, Footprints in the Sand. God then had you. All, I'll just say all of that, that's God. And others ought to be able to look at you, see how you sing, see how you worship, and learn. Say, now all that they done had, and she's still singing like that? That's encouragement to a real believer that knows what he's talking about faith in God. Because many people, I can tell you now, many, they wouldn't be coming to church. Say, I'm tired. We stayed up all night. Now I got my mama. Still got my daughter, my husband going here, there, and yonder. I'm tired. But you're still standing. God got you. When I see faith like that, I don't have to say nothing. I know God's got, it's in here. The safest place in the world is in the will of God. And when you in his will, he gonna take care of you. How? I can't tell you, but he gonna come through. Oh, yes, he will. That I used to do this on dialysis. Maybe this is my week. Maybe this is my week. They did a lot of good things for me while on dialysis. They said, you qualify for this, you qualify for that. They want to give you this. If you take this test, they're going to pay you for this. I'm saying all kind of stuff. We can even have somebody drive you. I said, that's okay. I'm going to keep going while I was going. And said, yeah, you qualify. I said, but I'm good. I'm good. That was nothing but God. When Channing's mother died, all kind of, I didn't know. As a man, single parent, with an 18-month-old baby, I qualified for all kind of stuff. I said, give it to somebody that needed it. God didn't bless me. And we just went on. But you got to trust him. You're not always going to see how, but just say, I let him worry about that. I let him worry about how it's going to get done. I just go on and every time something shows up in the mail, somebody calls on the phone, somebody comes by, something happens. I meet somebody somewhere straight and say, oh, I can help you with that. Always.
I came this evening. I don't have service. I don't have
Understood. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, real easy. And been justified. Something said or done. Yeah. The more you trust him, the more you'll learn to trust him. Because certain things, I look from an outsider, and I don't ask Pastor Taylor none of this personal stuff, but we talk about several things in the book a lot. But I just watch. If I didn't know you the way I know you, I wouldn't think you had anything going on. It don't show. Now, some Sundays, it shows up because you get real happy, and and I know what it is, and it's trusting God. But sometimes, even like when I was going through dialysis, it was some days you go, oh man, I just don't know today. I don't know today. I need your help. And before you know, the day is over and you done got through it. What happened? I'm through that now. That 13 weeks of Go ahead, he got it. Okay. It didn't seem like it seemed like unfair. I'm tired. I ain't feeling it. Now I ain't got a driver today. Of all days not to have a driver, I ain't got nobody to show up today. And God showed me who he was. He said, I got you. I got you. And just when you need him most, that's when he steps in. Look like he ain't there. Ain't nothing going right. Think about, she wants a baby. After she goes through this, she goes to the temple. Eli sees her. Then she says she was deep in verse 10, deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. She made a vow that you will look on my misery of your servant and remember me and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a male child. Then I will set him before you as a Nazarite until the day of his death. He shall not drink wine or intoxicating, or no razor should be on, just like with Samson. When she did this, she explained her actions, and it's important to understand her deep shame. Peninnah was laughing at her because she couldn't have children. And people will do that when you falling short somewhere. They'll make fun of you. And associated with barrenness in biblical times, from the very beginning, God commanded humanity to be fruitful and multiply. Now here she is, she can't bear. It was shameful back then. That's why you hear these people having 20, 22, 19, 15, 17 children, and they all lived in a shack. I guess when he said good night, he meant every word of it. It says in today. What? Good night. Good night. The woman was often viewed as cursed if she didn't have children, or rejected by God, or not in God's favor. Her worth was unfairly tied to the ability to produce children. If you had a bunch of children, that means you were really blessed. Now we don't want them. Hannah was not the first woman in Scripture. You had Abraham and Sarah. Same thing. 99 having a baby. Could you imagine that today? Lord, help my mind. God never asks anything of his people that he's unwilling to empower them to fulfill. If he asks you to do something, he's going to give you the power to do it, the authority to do it, a way to get it done. Any other questions so far? The assurance of God's faithfulness. If God said he's going to do something, you count it. But the thing is, like you said, Sister Taylor, where we get exasperated When, Lord? When? I mean, we think, now think about this. If one day is worth 1,000 years with God, that's nothing to God one day. To us, that's a long, it's a day. But if a day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day with God, you say, you ain't waited no time at all. I said, Lord, but it's been 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Then sometimes you just say, well, look like I'm going to just have to live with it. But at least he's sustaining me while I'm in it. I'm still going, I'm still doing, I'm still preaching or whatever. He's allowing me to keep doing what I've always done. But at the right time, he'll do it. Now it says, Eli marked her mouth. Hannah was speaking from her heart. Not where everybody could hear. She wasn't talking to them. She was just talking to God. She wasn't talking to Eli. She was telling God. And God can hear you even if you whisper. Even if you say it silently in your heart. He hears you. Eli thought she had been drunk. And Eli said to her, how long hast thou been drunken? Put away the wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, no, my Lord, I'm a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunken neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before God. Count not thy handmaid for a daughter of Balaam. Out of the abundance of my complaint and grief, I have spoken thereto. Then Eli said, go in peace, and God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. That's good news. He told her to go, but he said, be at peace now. God has heard your prayer. That's a wonderful thing to know that God has heard your prayer. Her focus was not on Eli. Her focus was on God. Don't let nobody, see, a lot of times when you go to, it's amazing how often when you come to the altar to pray, what the devil brings to your mind. Do I have a witness? And you sitting there trying to pray, where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? I ain't, and that ain't nothing but the devil. Don't listen to nobody else. You talking to God. That's who you trying to commune with, even in the midst of the altar prayer. Okay, got time. Wishing, hoping, and praying. All that goes together. Delight thyself in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart. Now, not only notice he didn't say he's going to give you whatever things you desire. If he gives you the delight, he's going to give you the design. That means I could say, Brother Gibson and I are going to be millionaires. We're going to touch and agree tonight when we leave here. But that might not be in his desire or his design. That's that naming and claiming group. But that might not be in God's desire to make us millionaires tonight. Or the design. But a lot of people naming it, no. If he gives you, delight yourself in God, and he's going to give you what to pray for in his will. It'll never be out of his will. It'll always be aligned with what, for his glory. Go in peace, he tells her. And it says, and they rose up in the morning early to worship before the Lord and came to the house of Ramad. And Elkanah knew Hannah. That word knew there, anytime you see the word he knew his wife, he had relations with his wife. And she got pregnant. And the Lord did, and notice, it took a while. The Lord didn't just give her anything. She gave him Samuel. And he was a chosen vessel for God. He was a leader. He was a priest. He was going to lead Israel. Sometime, it's just like fixing a special meal. You don't cook that in 5 minutes. You take time. You got to get it right. You got to get it prepared because it's a special meal. When God has a special assignment, he's got to prepare you for it. Oh, I was just that. No, no, no. He's going to take his time and get you where you need to be to do what he wants you to do. I'll say it again. Great miracles do not take great faith. It takes real faith. If you have the seed of a mustard, the faith of the seed of a mustard seed, you can say to that mountain, move, and it should be cast into the sea. You got to believe what you're praying for. Do you know most people don't even believe what they're praying for? They're just saying stuff. Believe what you're asking for, and it shall be done. Now, I want to say this. Be careful what you ask for. Israel wanted a king. After all God done for you, we don't care. We want to be like other people. You got it? They lost what they had and got what they wanted. And it was nothing but down, down, down. Even after he told them how Saul was going to treat them. Yeah, but we want a king anyway. Now watch this. And this is how people think. Just because Saul was from a good family with pedigree did not make him a good king. And a lot of times we will vote for popular rather than truth. Oh, they popular there. But how did they come by it? Donald Trump is popular, but look how he losing it. It's down to 29%. Lowest of any president ever at this time. In 18 months, you went down to 29. You know why? People looking at their grocery bill and gas bill. He can tell me everything's all right, all he wants. I'm looking. When I come out of the register, I'm going, ouch. I just needed some gas and I was about to run out, and so I just stopped at this station. It was $4.80 something. I said, oh. I said, well, just put $10 in there. That $10 hit that pump so quick. I said, that's it. That was 2 gallons. 2 gallons. I said, oh, I said, go and put 20 in there, man. That's 4. But you gonna tell me everything's all right when I'm looking at when it cost me $40 to fill up, now it's costing me 60 to 70. No, something wrong, buddy. When it used to cost me $40 every 2 weeks to go in and get my few groceries that I needed, now it's 100. And you telling me I ain't seeing it when I look at these? I always get a receipt. I'm not seeing where, something is off here. It's like I could imagine what your grocery bill is. Oh, God. A family of 4, 5? Oh, God. Let me finish this. The assurance of God's faithfulness. If God said it, that settles it. He gave her what she asked for. But watch this. She gave him what she promised. You give me a boy, I'm going to give it back. A lot of us don't keep our word with God. Maybe that's why it don't come. Because he knows God knows your heart. And when you want something or you need something, now think about it. You watching everybody else have their children, and you're not. Now you could say a lot of us would be bitter. Everybody else is getting a house, and I can't get down, and we get we'd be upset, we'd be angry, we'd be frustrated. I'm working hard, 2.5 jobs, and I can't get it. But if you believe God, you just say, no, my day will come. I've already asked him. I believe him. And I got to have faith in what I prayed for. He'll make it work. Questions, comments? I'm going to stop there.
When you said something about when it's going to happen, man, everybody knows the way y'all do know. But I've been trying to leave my campus for the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been close every single time. But watch this, though. And every year I leave and I come back, the Lord do something for me.
Mm-hmm.
The 22, 23, at the end of that year, going to 23, 24. Had I left my campus, I'd have forfeited that TIA money. I didn't even know I was gonna get.
Mm.
We were forfeited. We talking about 5 years of money the state gonna get.
Oh Lord.
Had I left, all of it forfeited. 5 years worth of money. I'm gonna get 3 of it.
And you didn't know it.
Didn't know I was getting it until I had to be a part of the next school year to receive it. This past year, well, the last 4 years, I've been waiting on somebody to retire from middle school. Each year, the AD say he retired and he come back, he changed his mind. We going back and forth the last 4 years.
Mm.
This past school year, at the end of this last school year, he officially retired. I interviewed for the job. I'm right there. The AD, I'm mad. The AD called me back, man. I ain't do no like that. They decided to go with somebody that was already here. He just got certified, but he was already on campus. I got to stay on my campus another year. The end of the year happened. Guess what happened to that position? I wanted so bad. They couldn't.
See
They
that?
couldn't. They couldn't. And that same person who just got certified, going back to the classroom. Because the state passed a law that said anybody, there will be no uncertified teacher in the state of Texas teaching anybody. Anybody in our district, anybody that has classroom attachments outside the classroom, going back to the classroom.
Wow.
So they went from 7 coaches to 4.
Mm.
That position that I wanted
Mm.
for the last 5 years,
Mm.
I'm mad I ain't get it. All these athletes I done brought through AD, everybody I done gave y'all. I'm talking about, man,
Mm-hmm.
I done gave y'all winning because of my program over here.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is transferring over there and they're gonna keep going over here.
Right.
Man, I was mad. They couldn't believe it. I wanted so bad.
Mm.
But as I think about it, this Lord protected me.
That's all.
Each and every time.
That's all.
And I come back and say, you know what, Lord? I'm back here again. That's my, I was the same spirit every year. I'm back again.
Back again.
Must be something you want me to keep doing over here with these 50
He's looking out for you and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why if something don't come my way and I say, well, what's going, it's got to be something else. It's got to be said. This ain't for me. This is, I want to hear that, sister. What is that?
I'm the same way. Because I'm always saying, if you want to be had, I will have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Some things, when you look back on, you say, oh, Lord, I'm so glad you didn't give that to me. People too. People too. I'm so glad I didn't get tied up with that. Lord have mercy. Sometimes you just got to thank God and say, my first, no, my wife was working in oil and gas, and right there by the house, by the Beltway 8, I want to go to Enron. I want to go to Enron. I say, well, I know Troy. He's a manager there. Me and Troy had lunch. He say, man, just tell me your wife's name. We family. You know, I get, you know. He flew in every week from New Orleans. Every week. He flew in. He had that kind of free, had to pull. And I told her about it. She went on over there, interviewed, got the job. For 6 months. Now you got a mind. She had to pay parking. You coming in from Richmond, the traffic every morning, traffic every evening, and you're coming downtown. I tried to tell her. For 6 months, I listened to her cry. Oh, I didn't say a word because I told her before she got down here. I said, downtown is a dog you eat dog. Big animal eat animal. Now you had to live really cush, 10 miles from the house, straight up West Town. No traffic, you know. 6 lanes you can run on, and right there, no parking, having to pay out your pocket, none of that. I let her run 6 months. Oh, every day. Try. I said, no, I don't want to hear it. You want to get down there. Right after she left, that's when that collapse came. I said, now, you can get me from killing somebody down there, taking all that money you got in your time. Because a lot of people lost their money. And I told her, I said, see, I said,
That's why I didn't want you, I know you. You ain't cut like that. You like, just, now everybody got a net trying to make a name for themselves. Y'all sat in the back. I said, you didn't have the traffic. You didn't have the traffic to deal with. You didn't have all that, no traffic, no all that.
See, sometimes less is more. You think you're getting a promotion. You had more work. They stressed you out. You came home vexed every day because you went, I told you, a different environment. But the Lord worked it out. I'm glad she got out of there and transferred her retirement because that I don't know about y'all, but I come home and you tell me y'all done took all my money. Y'all telling us to buy the stock while y'all pulling y'all money out of it. That wouldn't have set real well with me. But I'm a little more settled now. I was still a little rough then, but because I said I was gonna find that boy Jeff, whatever his name was, the vibrator that stole all that. You gonna give me my money? I went to jail or something because notice something. Yeah, supposedly nobody saw the funeral. His picture wasn't seen. They say he died. A lot of people lost a lot of, but see, that guy, Jeff, whatever, you building a house in River Oaks, and we didn't lost our money. I wouldn't have been real kind. I might have went insane for about a day. But I do notice this. That's why people wait to put your name on stuff before you die, after you die. They took his name off that YMCA in Katy just as fast as they put it up. When all that came out about Enron, they took it right down. See, when you die, you can't mess it up. But if they put your name on a building too soon, all that stuff Donald Trump putting his name on, watch it come down. Yeah, I heard that. They're gonna take it off some other stuff. Now tell me something, and I'm gonna say this online. We don't have no money. You cut the funding at food banks, but you building an arch. You giving these people that killed people at the White House $1.8 billion, and y'all folks that's voting for him going along with that. But you can't give hungry people food, but you gonna give people that broke the law $1.8 billion, 1.7, whatever it is. How is that? All this other stuff he remodeling or whatever. Ain't nobody getting no value out of that but him. Think about what you're doing. Because the same people you rejecting gonna have to vote for you in September. Yeah, that ends it tonight. Thank y'all so much. I got off on track a little bit. But when you don't do right by God, he don't reward bad behavior. I can't think of any instance where he let you do what you want to do. Samson died because he didn't listen to God. He didn't have to. But when you don't listen, you don't get rewarded. Thank y'all so much tonight. Lord, we thank you. We pray that the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart were acceptable in your sight. Oh God, our strength and our Redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen. See you next week.